Hi everybody, hope you're well, hope you're keeping safe. Caravans and motorhomes today can run off of multiple fuel systems, be it a 12-volt leisure battery, the mains hookup, or indeed gas. In fact, many of the items here in the caravan, including the fridge, the cooker, the heating and the hot water, can all run off of multiple fuel systems, and one of those fuels is of course gas. But I'm sure as many of you are aware, there is more than one gas type available for the caravan. So in this video, I'm going to go through the various types of gas which are available, what their pros and cons are, and which ones we are using right now. So let's kick it all off and let's discuss what gases are available for the caravan and the motorhome.
Liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, is a highly flammable mixture of hydrocarbon gases that are extracted during the refinement process of petroleum products such as petrol and diesel. There are a few gases that are created in the distillation process, including butane and propane. Although they are distilled from crude oil in similar ways, butane and propane are very different in their characteristics. One of the biggest differences between the gases is their boiling point. Now, to keep this simple, boiling point is the temperature where a substance is converted from a liquid into a vapour. And for all the budding chemists out there, I know there's a far more scientific explanation, but for the purposes of this video, that's all we need to know. A good example of boiling point is water, which boils at 100 degrees Celsius.
Whilst we're on the subject of keeping things simple, let's just go through very briefly how gas actually works here in the caravan. LPG is stored in a liquefied form in the gas bottles. It's under high pressure in that state. When it's released, it vaporizes and turns back into gas. When it is released from the gas bottle, it's fed into a regulator, which reduces the pressure and also regulates the flow of gas throughout all the systems here in the caravan. It's very simple in that explanation, but that's essentially how it all works. Now, I'm going to discuss a bit later on how to use gas in the caravan, but right now let's go through some of the fuel types, and let's start with propane. Propane has a boiling point of minus 42 degrees, which means that in cold weather conditions it will still vaporize, it will still turn into gas. Brilliant if you're working in cold weather conditions. However, because of its very low boiling point, in warm weather conditions it's not as efficient. Certainly not as efficient as butane, which we'll discuss a bit later on.
When lit, propane will give off carbon monoxide when in normal operation. Carbon monoxide is incredibly toxic, and it's for this reason you should always have a carbon monoxide monitor and gas drain vents to allow carbon monoxide to sink out of the caravan. It's important that these vents are in no way blocked. Propane is widely available in the United Kingdom, but it's not so common in mainland Europe. So if you do use propane gas, make sure you have enough for your trip if touring abroad.
Butane has a boiling point of just minus 2 degrees, which means that in very cold weather conditions it will not vaporize, it will not burn, and it just won't work. But because of its high boiling point, it means that in hotter weather conditions it's an incredibly efficient fuel to use. In fact, it produces around 12% more energy per volume compared to propane.
Butane can be slightly cheaper than propane to purchase, but with volatile fuel markets right now, this may soon be incorrect. One thing that is correct though is that it is widely available in mainland Europe. Butane burns slightly cleaner than propane, and in normal operation, butane gives off carbon dioxide when lit. This makes it an ideal fuel for use inside the caravan. But again, keep those vent holes clear just in case of an issue.
Right, so that's the main headline news there of each gas type, but which one should you be considering? Well, it's really up to you. Are you going to be using the caravan during the winter? Are you going to be going away with it in hot weather conditions? Are you going to be travelling abroad? These are all questions that you'll need to answer, and you'll very quickly work out which gas type is best for you. But how do you make the caravan work on either gas? Well, actually, it couldn't be simpler.
Nearly all modern caravans have a bulkhead regulator. This means that all you need to do is supply the gas and have the correct fitting. The regulator will handle either gas type. The fitting will come in the form of a pigtail, like this. This fits securely onto the regulator at one end and will fit directly to the gas bottle at the other. Now, if your caravan doesn't come with a bulkhead regulator, don't worry, you can get one that fits onto the top of the bottle. Depending on the gas type and the bottle size will depend on the connection style for both the regulator and pigtail connections. Propane bottles have a reverse thread receiver, where the connection is screwed into the bottle. Make sure that when adding either a pigtail or regulator, rotate the connection anti-clockwise and tighten with the correct size spanner. Now I've put a link to gas spanners down below if you need one. For small butane bottles, the connection is also a reverse screw thread, but the connection screws onto the bottle. For 7.5 kilo butane bottles and bigger, the connection clips onto the top of the bottle. And for maximum flexibility, you can buy a clip that attaches to the bottle and then allows a regulator or pigtail to screw onto that. All pigtail connections come with a lifespan of just 5 years. The date of manufacture will be printed on the pipe, and after 5 years, they should be replaced.
There is another gas type which I haven't mentioned, and that is the mix, the propane and butane mix. In fact, I've just brought one in here from outside. This is what we run our Cadac on. As you can see, there's some similarities here. We've got a regulator, we've got the gas bottles, and then this just plugs straight into our Cadac. Using this gas is beneficial for us. It means that we can move the Cadac away from the caravan, behind the caravan, somebody else's pitch, or even when we take the Cadac home. They last incredibly long, by the way. But there is other benefits as well. It's 30% propane and 70% butane, which means that this is fantastic for warm weather, obviously because of the butane, but also work in cold weather because of the propane. I don't think it has a minus 42 degree boiling point, but it certainly does work in cold weather here in the UK. I know that because I've done it. And if you're interested in these Coleman gas bottles, I've put a link to these in the description down below. Now throughout this video you would have seen me using Calagas bottles as a reference. And the thing about Calagas bottles is you can't buy the bottle outright. With Cala, what you do is you rent the bottle. So you pay a higher price at the beginning, and then thereafter you exchange the empty bottle for a full bottle back at a Cala approved retailer. You cannot refill these bottles yourselves, it's not legal and you can't do it. I'm sure there's people out there that say you can, but you're not allowed to refill these bottles. Flow gas is very similar to Calagas. They work in exactly the same way. You rent the bottle from them and you pay on an empty for full exchange basis.
Sadly, you can't exchange a flow gas with a Cala bottle or vice versa. However, other gas solutions are available. Products such as SafeFill allow you to buy the bottle outright, along with some fittings, and you can refill the bottle yourself as a designated station. Initial outlay may be vastly more than that of a flow gas or a Cala bottle, but the refill fee is a fraction of the cost. So if you use gas as a primary fuel source, SafeFill may be worthwhile investigating and can be a more cost-effective method.
For us, however, we use one bottle a year, and that means that it would take 5 to 6 years to see any financial benefit or come back from our investment. So it won't work for us. And there's another hidden complication as well. Locally, where we live, there's nowhere for us to go and refill the gas bottles. I have looked, I have found out where the local refill station is, but there's just nowhere around here to do it. So for us, it would be an added burden and an added complication if we wanted to refill our gas bottles ourselves.
Another system that you can buy and refill yourself is Gaslow. This one is installed into the caravan or motorhome, and this is in fact an ideal solution for motorhome owners. Finally, it's worth mentioning, but it's not usually a gas system that you would plug into a caravan or motorhome, and that's camping gas. Like the canisters I've already shown you, these are small bottles and canisters ideal for barbecues and small stoves. The business model is the same as Cala and flow gas, in that you rent a bottle and exchange it on a full for empty basis.
The $64 billion question is, of course, which gas do we use? We've always used propane right from the get-go, and that's because we use the caravan all year round. Propane works for us during the winter, and although it's not as efficient as butane, it still will work in the summertime. So we just stick with propane all the time. It's unlikely that we are going away abroad anytime soon, and even if we were, I'd be still happy to make sure that we got the full bottle before we were heading off. Certainly, the amount of gas that we use, we're not going to run out anytime soon. We go through about one bottle a year, and that is using it as a mixed fuel on startup for getting the hot water and the heating in place. We use it for obviously cooking here in the caravan, but as you have seen, we use other fuel sources for the Cadac when we're sitting outside. And really, we don't use it as much as perhaps we should do. We as a family rely upon electricity. But how do you use gas? Is it a primary fuel source for you? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure other people would be interested to read the comments as well on how other people handle their gas supply in their caravan. But that's it from me today. I hope this video has been useful and provides you some information. If you've got any questions or comments, please do hit them down below. If you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon, and you'll be updated when we next release a video. But until then, many thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye bye now.